another 3 seconds to do the intro.
Okay. Hey guys, Bowie here. I have a surprise. You can see that Henry Rawdota is here with me. He's in Brazil and we decided to make a couple of collabs. He's in my house and this is a really cool idea. We're going to talk about rotations and this is a script that we made together, but it's actually Henry's idea. So he's going to lead and I'm going to chime in whenever possible. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here on your YouTube channel finally. So actually I was on your YouTube channel once with the Invoker video.
Yeah, that's true.
So basically the idea here is I'm going to talk to you guys about map movements and rotations and exactly the perspective of EG's carry 4 and 5 and how they move around the map to solve a couple different problems that they face playing against this IG lineup. The key problem hero on IG is this 10th pick Timbersaw, which was like this last pick that's really good against Void because it takes a long time for Void to get damage against Timbersaw. And they don't really have any hard initial damage that comes from levels on EG. It's mostly item-based damage, which Timbersaw is he's gonna have a lot of time to be able to take over the map. So we're gonna talk about how Crit deals with that on the Pangolier. But the first thing that I want to talk about here is he actually just blocked this bottom creep wave. And since they have Enigma off lane, Enigma Pangolier is kind of a janky, weird lane. They can't actually contest very well. The Eidolons don't work very well. They don't have a good stun. They don't really have much damage. But what Crit is actually providing to Ramses here is he's going to let Ramses, with the deny, the Equilibrium is going to naturally push under his tower, and Ramses is going to be able to farm.
Yeah.
And the only sort of remedy for that for IG is the pool, which he's actually just going to body block for the first 2 minutes here.
Exactly. And now what happens is it's gonna push, and he does get a little bit of that experience, right? Because he wants to rotate on the Timbersaw, as we talked about, so he doesn't want to be like level 1, and he even like gets some of the creeps that the Enigma cannot get, which is pretty cool, I think.
So something really useful for you guys to understand when playing support is it's really important for you to have impact in multiple lanes as much as possible, to know when to leave, when you're useless, and when you're really useful somewhere else. So in this game, like the first 2 minutes, he's not very useful for any lane really, because that's just the circumstance, but he's able to find small ways to be super useful for this Enigma while also looking for a window of opportunity to leave.
Exactly. He's gonna block again. He knows the rune's gonna spawn. Kind of lucky actually, because he gets a bottom rune and it's an invis, so he's gonna TP and all. But I really like the way that he also plays the lane, because he is dodging pretty much all of the heroes, but he's still being used for the same time. He didn't use any regen items, and yeah, now it's gonna get the invis and rotate.
Yeah, so at this point, Crit has blocked the pool twice. It's gonna give Ramses the first 2, 3, 4 minutes of farm, which is super useful. He's gonna grab a lucky invis rune, but he probably would have made this rotation without it. And then he's gonna come top to deal with the major problem hero. If Crit doesn't make a rotation top to deal with Timbersaw, they will never kill Timbersaw with Void Lich, and then this Timber will probably take a 5-6 minute tower and they'll crush ARTEEZY's lane. It'll be a pretty significant problem for EG with this last pick Timber. So with Crit making this rotation, it's super useful. He's able to find impact in 2 lanes and also put himself in position to secure ARTEEZY's farm.
Yeah, and he's having impact with like a really bad lane, so it's amazing how.
Yeah, and they wait till he's level 2. He got almost level 2 on the experience bottom, and they just wait for him to get level 2 on Crit, and they just go with it for the frost shield. You can see he walks mid and tries to make a little bit of a toss-back play with the tiny, but nothing really gets accomplished. So what Crit's going to do next on this Pangolier is he's just going to go bottom, looking for another timing to be useful, and he's just going to poke and prod at the Coddle, steal some farm, and get some farm for himself. Something really interesting about Crit's item build is he actually goes literally 0 new items until he gets a complete Maelstrom. He has the bottle and the stick queued up, but he doesn't actually even end up getting them because all he needs and wants is damage to deal with this Timbersaw problem that they're facing. This is kind of unique because sometimes you'll see other items. In the meantime, the next thing that we want to really talk about is the Lich, and how you can see Fly's kind of not lost up here, but he's not very useful. So he's going to do a quick pull here to get a little bit more farm. Looks like Kaka might ruin it. But the basic premise of this Lich is he's looking for an opportunity to leave here. He is doing trading with the Lina because that's about all he can do. But what he wants to do is wait for the bounty runes and then look for an opportunity to see if he can go rotate somewhere else. So it's really important for you guys to know when you're useful, when you're useless, and when to leave a lane. When you play support, like, you have to understand that if you can't kill the offlaner, if you can't guarantee your carry gets more farm, if you can't pool, which gets some farm under the tower, and obviously pooling is not so great here because Timber's just going to push the tower anyways, then it's time to leave. And you can see he gets 1 pull off, and then the real rune's going to spawn. Fortunately, it's going to run into Kaka, and that's going to obviously pose a problem, but you can see his basic goal is to move out of this top lane with whatever means necessary.
Yeah, so like if he TPs back top, he is not gonna accomplish anything. It's not like they can kill Night Stalker at nighttime, so bottom is the natural lane he has to go.
Yeah, and you might wonder, why does Lich not just go to the jungle and stack, which is what a lot of people might wonder, instead of maybe getting that top bounty rune or stack at the 7-minute mark. Stacking is basically, I don't want to say useless, but it's not that useful, because what happens if the supports aren't showing on the map is they're going to lose both this top tower to Timbersaw and this bottom tower. Enigma is going to get pressured really hard. Right now, they really want to make a move on this Gyro before he's level 6, and just Enigma can't have Eidolons in the lane anymore because they're just going to get ulted. And they also really want to use the supports to play together to actually control a part of the map and get kills. When you have two kind of weakish supports, you see they don't really have any real stun. They don't really have any strong hero to play with other than Tiny, who's mostly just farming right now. The best idea for you to have is to have both supports play together.
Yeah, and another thing that happens if Lich doesn't show, or if it's just like stacking, is ARTEEZY might actually suffer and maybe get ganked. Like if there's no pressure being applied, people will do stuff, and like someone might die. So if you make the first move, like you're in control of what's happening.
Yeah, and you could see a natural rotation here to the Lich dying and being pressured. Is Lina's in the middle of TPing bottom actually, which they don't know. But addition to that, the other reason you might not want to stack here for the Void is what Void's eventual goal is also to leave this top lane. You might say, who's supposed to lane against Timbersaw? Well, you can see ARTEEZY's skill belt and even itemize, he's going to get a Wraith Band here, and he probably should have gotten a stick, honestly, is he's basically skill belt with the max Q, no points in time dilation, to hold the lane for as long as possible. And that's the benefit of the Pangolier killing the Timbersaw earlier, is they didn't lose the tower to the 5-minute catapult because Timber just wasn't strong enough.
Yeah.
You can see they're going to stay here with ARTEEZY for as long as possible. He doesn't really want to take stacks, though, because he does want to leave, and he does want to get a Chronosphere off.
Exactly, and he does have Chronosphere. Timbersaw is not really a hero that he can kill. Like, they would need, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 heroes, and that's not what you want to do. So he's looking for a rotation. He just doesn't know exactly when it's going to happen. They actually do get a kill there. Unfortunately, the Pangolier dies. But they're creating pressure. ARTEEZY knows where everyone is. He doesn't fear that much for his life. But that's until the Night Stalker rotation.
Yeah, and what happens here on the other side of the map, while they, I don't know if they necessarily forced the Lina bottom, but the Lina noticed he killed Lich, and it's a little difficult since Lina's not 6 to actually kill ARTEEZY, especially with the max Void Leap. So a natural consequence to Lina showing bottom is ARTEEZY actually grabs the creep wave from top and starts dragging it in the jungle. As the Timbersaw, you have two options. You either chase Void around and lose farm of your own, or can't pressure the tower, or you give up pressuring the Void, let him just farm all the creeps, and you do what the Void did as well, which is you drag the creeps to the jungle camps and take double of both as well. So that's kind of how top ends up getting remedied, is Lina leaves, and so that gives Void the free ability to farm top again until Timber's back pressuring under the tower.
Exactly. What happens now is ARTEEZY gets... Oh, he didn't get the ward now, but... Oh, there you go. He's going to try and ward the lane so that he can see the Night Stalker rotation. Timbersaw is annoying, but it's not like he's going to actually kill the Void unless it takes a long time. He's going to ward there, but even then it doesn't matter because Night Stalker actually got another path.
Yeah, so this is really interesting and something you can take note of. Probably kind of difficult to pull off in your games, but they give ARTEEZY a ward because they know that eventually someone's going to come to this Timbersaw and try and kill him in the lane. So this ward is like for if Lina TP's back top, it's been another minute or two, or if Night Stalker comes and rotates through the lane. Unfortunately, he has no idea that Night Stalker's grabbed the haste rune and is just going to come kill him. And inevitably, ARTEEZY can't do anything against Night Stalker. He's just going to die.
And this is a really similar scenario to the Lich. He's dead, so that's not a lane that he wants to be. We already talked about that. And what are the options? TP mid or TP bottom?
Or jungle.
Or jungle. Why he's not jungling? Because he's ARTEEZY. I think we wait. And
so ARTEEZY dies top, and basically his options are jungle, see if he can get a chrono somewhere else, or farm in the lane.
He cannot farm in the lane because Timbersaw is really annoying. The Night Stalker might come back. And he does have Chronosphere. Chronosphere by itself top is not good, so he wants to use it with his allies, and he's going to TP bottom. And this is a rotation that actually doesn't get a kill, but it's still a rotation that was needed, and still a rotation that actually does things around the map. As you can see, there's Blinding Light. He didn't want it to chrono there. There's a lot of damage coming from the gyrocopter as well. But yeah, because of this, Timbersaw is going to TP bottom, and he TPs bottom because he's really good at making sure a hero's not going to die if he's in lane with ARTEEZY. But this means that top is not pushing now. That tier 2 tower is not being pressured. So even though Arteezy doesn't get a kill, he's still being proactive in the game.
Notice how Arteezy's pinging bottom, and they're sending Lich immediately to go bottom as soon as Timbersaw TPs. This Lich's job is basically to hold what we call the dead lane. It's kind of interesting that the dead lane is kind of the off lane here, but with the Frost Shield, all they want to do is delay the Timbersaw pressure as long as possible. Pros are really, really good at dealing with like tower pressure like this from one single hero. Lich is going to try his best to not die, to take the creeps, etc. You can see Arteezy's immediate natural reaction. Instead of staying looking for a Chronosphere opportunity, he knows that IG wants Timbersaw in the same lane against the Void, because they cannot kill the Timbersaw with the Chronosphere. So Arteezy's natural reaction is he's just going to walk from bottom to top and not even farm on the way, just so he can get this farm away from Timbersaw and away from Nightstalker during daytime.
Yeah, the way that Pros uses TPs is like way better than most players, and basically like Arteezy wants to use Chronosphere, but he doesn't want to use Chronosphere on Timbersaw, and the game kind of keeps unfolding with no real opportunity for a while, right?
Yeah. When I was smurfing from like 3K to 7K, one of the biggest things that helped me in the and you're going to see Arteezy is about to Chronosphere and TP out because Nightstalker will just kill him no matter what.
Yeah.
One of the things that helped me the most was punishing TPs. Whenever someone would make a bad commitment, is what I'd call it, to the wrong side of the map on a very important hero, I'd literally just tell the entire team to run at the other side of the map. That helps you so much in these 4 or 5 3-KMR games to just understand how to create 4v5 fights, 3v5 fights, really easy fights to take.
I even want to pause because like usually that Chronosphere that he did, it's usually not a good Chronosphere, but it's good because Dark Ascension was committed, right?
Yeah.
If he doesn't commit Dark Ascension, I'm not sure Arteezy would actually chrono there too.
It's daytime, right? So he
Yeah.
could just leap TP, but the Dark Ascension is going to give him that extra vision to cancel a leap TP if he's in the trees,
Yeah, so
etc.
it's not like getting a good chrono was easy this game, so he just exchanges the cooldowns. It's pretty much the same time.
Yeah, and Void's a lot more useful without Chronosphere than Nightstalker is during daytime without Dark Ascension.
Exactly.
So you can see now that Dark Ascension's on cooldown, they're actually going to bring the Enigma bottom, and they're going to be pushing this tower with Enigma and Void. Interestingly enough, that Tiny is also in the enemy jungle kind of pressuring a little bit, but he's forced to come back because, of course, they want to deal with this Timbersaw pressure. The all pops clarities too.
Yeah, and now that Chronosphere is on cooldown, we're gonna see Arteezy pretty much just farming and pushing the lanes because that's what he can do. He cannot be of any aid during this situation. But like we saw 3 types of rotations from 3 different lanes. We're gonna talk about Arteezy once again, but do we want to start compiling everything that we said? Just
yeah. So basically, what we want you guys to understand is when you're playing 4. You want to kind of have a impact in multiple lanes and look for your opportunity to when it's best to leave. When you're playing 5, you have to know when you're useless, when you can no longer help the carry by pulling, by killing, and how to get out of there. The easiest way is to look for your other support or look for what core you can enable and see if you can play with the other support, play as a pair, get kills wherever's necessary. They went bottom, especially because if they don't go bottom then, they're not going to have another opportunity to go bottom because once Gyro has 6, the flat cannon plus the gyro ulti just kills all the Eidolons, and Enigma's not really able to fight in lane against the gyrocopter. So that was like the best timing to go bottom. And I want you guys to watch this fight, and this looks like a really bad fight for EG, and it is a little bit. Obviously, Chronosphere's on cooldown, Arteezy's just farming. But what's interesting about this is if we follow the Nightstalker premise that we set up before, which is Arteezy wants to fight when it's daytime and when there's no Dark Ascension and when he has Chronosphere. This is the kind of understanding of when you should fight as a carry and when you should rotate and how you should move around the map that you need to develop if you want to have a good, consistent progress and growth and ability to win and carry games. Don't make bad fights just because fights are happening, and know when a good fight is going to happen based on the rules you've set up for yourself. So he uses Dark Ascension, so he's going to have Dark Ascension for another 30 seconds, right? So this entire 30 seconds, you're going to see Arteezy, he's just coming nearby, because they're looking for this opportunity where it's still going to be daytime before 15 minutes, and Dark Ascension is going to be down. So they have this 30-40 second window.
Yeah, I think we can go back to show the TP. So he actually TPs, doesn't find the right Chronosphere, but it's actually good that he doesn't use it, because Dark Ascension was still ongoing, and then...
I went way too far back. It's okay.
Use like 10 seconds, I think, if you click twice.
I think it's good here.
Yeah.
So you can see Dark Ascension gets used, and he immediately TPs. He's not going to waste Chrono on this Timber, but he's putting himself in proximity of his team in this team fight, where if something happens, he's able to farm there. Notice also Lina is showing bottom. So this is like the key timing for a carry like ARTEEZY to know, okay, I'm going to be able to fight because Dark Ascension's going to be down. That's really what I'm looking for. My Chrono's up, and all these heroes are out of position.
Yeah, Will-O-Wisp is as well. Make sure that he's hitting through the Chronosphere, and they just get pretty much team wide without the Lina there.
They just get this super good fight. So you guys have to know what as a carry, what like parameters you're looking for in terms of a fight. If you're a 4, know who's the problem hero, how do you contribute to multiple lanes at what time. A lot of people don't know when matchups are strong or when they can be useful in certain lanes. And if you're a 4 like Crit, you can spend the first 2 minutes being useful bottom, set Enigma up for success, and then before Timber solves a problem, deal with him too. Then all of a sudden you've set up your offlaner and you've sort of obfuscated a little bit of the success of their offlane.
Yeah, like just complimenting about 4, I really like the way that Crit played that lane, where he understands that it's a terrible matchup for him, he doesn't do anything, but he's still like there being useful when he's needed, but never taking any damage. I think that's like really hard to execute, but it's how it should be played.
And from this point, IG kind of just loses their lead, and they're not able to spend this next night time doing too much damage, and then the game kind of just falls apart for them.
Alright, well, this was one of the many videos we're gonna do collabing here while Henry in Brazil, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. And send us more suggestions about what you want us to talk about. It's going to be a pleasure reading them.
Thanks, guys. And if you want, you can check out my channel, youtube.com/Rawdota. My name's Henry, and I hope you guys enjoy having me on Bowie's channel.
All right.